Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to Brownlow Books. You're going to want to get yourself maybe a hot beverage and a little snack, because we're going to talk Canada Reads 2023. Alright, we are talking Canada Reads 2023. It is Thursday, January 12th, and the long list came out today. You're probably going to see me on Saturday, though. Hey, what up? So, for anyone who doesn't know how Canada Reads works, basically they have a long list of 15 books they select by Canadian authors. I don't know how they select the long list. And then they have a panelist of 5 judges that are notable Canadians. Don't know how to pick them either. I've never heard of a lot of them, so... Anyways, they each pick a book they want to defend, and they have a week of debates and discussion. Televised, and decide what Canada should be reading. Simple as that. Yeah, it's simple enough. Alright, so they released the long list, the 15 books, today. So I'm going to make some predictions, maybe, I guess you want to call them. In March, you're going to see a haul video that has just nothing but Canadian authors. One non-Canadian author on it. I was like, I'm gonna get ahead on Canada Reads, and yeah, I didn't at all. These 3 books are the books that I own from the 15 long list, and I haven't read any of these. 2 of them have been sitting on my shelves for at least 2 years, and this one on the bottom I just bought this summer. It was September. And I've only read one on the long list. I'm an embarrassed Canadian today, to be entirely fucking honest. I was just like going through it and I was like, God, no. That was my reaction today of, oh fuck. I haven't read any of these, I don't know any of these. Not to say I don't know any of them. I actually don't know a lot of them, and I'm like, what? So how they're selected, I don't really know. But anyways, the 5 books that will be championed by our panel of judges is released on... The list will be released January 25th. And then the debates are taking place March 27th to 30th. Woo, CBC. So Canada Reads 2022 is a thing I did for you, not in time with when Canada Reads actually takes place. I'm hoping to get ahead of it this year. Maybe give you a week of videos. What up? You'll see me all week. So, hoping to get ahead of it this year. Read some of the books before the debates happen, you know, actually be able to make some predictions. So, based on just what I have for the long list right now, is what we're going to go through. I've got my tablet. We're going to go through it, and I'm going to talk about what I think. So the first book is Ducks by Kate Beaton, or Ducks 2 Years in the Oil Sands, Kate Beaton. Graphic novel. I have reviewed it previously, which you can see up here if you want to. It is the only book that I've read on the list. No lie. I love it. It's got this, like, rawness to it that I love. As for Canada Reads, I feel horrible saying this. It's definitely not gonna win. It can't. There is so much fucking attitude around graphic novels and, like, counting them. And I'm just like, I'm not even sure it's gonna make the shortlist, to be honest. I really, like, I love it. I wish it could, you know, be considered seriously, but I just honestly don't think it's going to. I hope someone picks it and makes it to the shortlist, if that just means that it gets in front of more eyes, because really, it is such a uniquely Canadian story. I can't imagine a book like this coming from literally anywhere else. That is just so Canadian, and just like oil sands, Alberta, with people from like all over the fucking country, and people even from other countries coming to just make money, and just the microcosm of society that exists there. And it's just, I mean, it's a memoir in graphic novel format, so I mean, it has maybe a slight chance to it, And it's long, which is kind of like, so it's more serious. You know, it's like 400 fucking pages or something, but like, it's just, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I hope. Second book on the long list is Reverie, A Year of Bees by Jenna Butler. And it's a collection of essays of things that she's learned tending to her bees on a farm in, I believe it was Alberta farm. I haven't heard of it before now, entirely honest. I feel like essay collections are another kind of iffy thing on the Canada Reads list. Like I was saying, graphic novels with ducks, essays are also kind of like not, both of them, not really on the Canada Reads shortlist that often. Like, I made myself a spreadsheet because I want to try to read all of them at some point. Just like mark them off as I go kind of thing, not like a fucking buckle down and do it. But they're just a thing that's not on there a lot. Short stories are more than the essays, so I'm kind of like, I don't think it's gonna end up on a short list, to be entirely honest, unless someone like really loves bees, maybe. I don't know a lot about the book, to be honest, so like what I'm going is just literally what I've read this morning. That's sad about that. The next book we have is Half Bads in White Regalia. Regalia. By Cody. I'm gonna be butchering some of these names and I apologize in advance. Cody Catano. So this book is about him and his siblings basically raising themselves in a rural house after their mom discovers that she was a survivor of the 60s scoop. If you're not Canadian and don't know what that is, that's when the RCMP and all the church and shit was like scooping up Indigenous youth to take them away and adopt them out into white families so that you kill the Indian inside. Just in a different way than residential schools. Okay, so his mother finds out that she's a survivor of the 60s scoop. His dad is like Portuguese immigrant father just kind of drifting around, and so it's basically him and his siblings just kind of raising themselves. And so it's all about his family. So yeah, memoir again. Also, that book right there. Honestly, high fucking chance to be on the short list, I think. Canada is still, I think Canada is still dealing with its Indigenous problem in that we created a problem by treating them like shit. So yeah, I think it has a high probability. I mean, last year and the year before both had Indigenous winners. So I think it's not only got a high probability of being on the shortlist, I could see it being a winner just based on what I know about it. And I mean, I picked Five Little Indians to win last year without reading literally any book on the list, simply because I was like, oh, it's an Indigenous story after residential school. I'm like, it's 2022. People are gonna pick that. It's gonna win. People are feeling bad, as they should. And yeah, I see high probability of that getting really high. All right, next book is actually the one right on top of that one, Greenwood by Michael Christie. I feel like it's based on what I read, it's like not so far in the future, but it's kind of like a little bit of a dystopian future where like these really tall trees only exist on this like one island, and like our protagonist runs tours through them, and it's something about the lineage of trees and relating to the lineage of people and like secrets and lies and like that kind of thing. And I was just kind of like, sounds a little climate changey. It's been sitting on my shelf for quite some time. I give it a pretty good probability of ending up on the short list because it doesn't seem like that far-fetched of a dystopian novel. You know, some dystopian stuff goes like so far, so sci-fi, so fantasy that you're just kind of like, is it even dystopian anymore? It's not dystopian from our world, it's just dystopian in their world kind of thing. It's one of those. I feel like that has a high probability of getting onto the short list. All right, the next book is Blood Scion, I want to say, by Deborah Fillet? Not 100% sure on that. It is a young adult fantasy. Descendant from like these gods, you have powers, people want to exploit that. You know, YA fantasy. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I feel like young adults books have not made it onto a shortlist in quite a few years with Canada Reads. Not to say that nothing deserves to be there, but there's definitely still attitude about adults reading young adult stuff when there shouldn't be. No one should have fucking attitude about books. That's a tangent for another day. I feel like it doesn't have great odds of ending up on the shortlist this year. That being said, I am interested in it. I think I'm gonna pick it up to read it. I'm not much of a fantasy person, but I was like, this sounds okay. Not much of a fantasy, but it sounds like a fantasy that I could probably handle. So I might pick that up. Alright, next book is Hannah Khan Carries On by, I'm gonna butcher this name, Uzma Jalaluddin. I don't think I said that right at all. Anyways, it's a romantic comedy. And as much as I would love a romantic comedy to end up on the shortlist, I really don't think that that's what they're going for. There is fucking attitude in Canada Reads of literary merit. I mean, when Hench ended up on there in 2021, it was kind of discounted for being popular fiction. So having a romantic comedy, I'm not quite sure that that's... I'd love it to, because people have such attitude, again, about romantic books. Like, read more romance. It does not, like, it's valid and worthy. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for that ending up on the shortlist, to be entirely honest. We'll see what happens. I would love for it to. It sounds like a really interesting book. Probably gonna pick it up anyways. I mean, I did say I wanted to read more Canadian authors, and the Canada Reads long list is always a good thing to pick from. Or the Giller Prize list. Or just the CBC books list in general. Okay. Next book is All the Seas of the World by Guy Gavriel Kay. This is a like historical fantasy, which I always feel like is contradictory. That's a me thing. So they're like, God, it's like every fantasy thing. Two people are sent on a mission to destroy something. Vengeance, fate, intrigue, you know. Like, even when I was trying to read about this, I didn't get a lot of what it was really about. The cover, if you go look at the cover is beautiful. I don't know if I know enough about it to make odds on it appearing on the shortlist or not. Fantasy appearing on the shortlist is a thing that has happened, so like, it's not to say it's out of the realm of possibility entirely. I don't know anything about it. I tried to read it and I was like, what did this tell me? It's like fantasy buzzwords. So I literally can't even make a prediction on this. I don't know. Next book on the list is Dandelion by Jamie Chai-Yun Liu. I'm horrible at names. It's, Asian family in a BC mining town. Mom just kind of walks out of their life one day. She's left wondering about, what happened to her mom and if there's like family secrets, and like eventually goes to find her mom. Standard. Honestly, I give it pretty high probability of landing on the shortlist. I feel like it's got that little bit of like mystery intrigue to it. Very Canadian and BC, and then where are they from? Brunei, should you say? From Brunei. And so I don't know, it's got something about it. Something about it is speaking to me where I'm like, I think this is gonna end up on the shortlist, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. It's just like this gut feeling of maybe Canada's ready for this too. Alright, next book on the list, We Were Dreamers by Marvel actor whose name I always pronounce wrong, Simu Liu. So, another memoir. I think it's just like immigrant family to him becoming, you know, a superhero. My roommate read this one. My friend read this one, and she loves him. And she said it was kind of difficult to get through, even loving him. And so I was kind of like, I hope they don't pick this one. It's kind of like in the middle for me. I was like, it could end up on the short list if someone's like, ooh, that'll be good for like bringing people into watching this kind of thing, blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if it's not good, because she's not the first person I heard that from either. I have seen online, they're like, you know, I love him in like Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, whatever it is, and they're like, I love him, but like, I didn't love the book, and I feel bad, and I want to love it, and blah blah, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, I just have a thing really about celebrity memoirs to begin with. I have a lot of memoirs on my shelf. I don't think a single one of them is from a celebrity. Like, movie, TV, music, it just doesn't appeal to me. I have memoirs from writers. Shocker. But yeah, celebrity memoirs are not for me, and so I'm kind of like, please don't make me read one. So we'll see what happens with that. I'd give it a 50-50 chance. Just depends on who the judges are going to be, really. Because, like, you never know what they're up to. So, we'll see. Alright, next book we have is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It's set in Mexico in the 1950s. I think it was described as a horror, like a Gothic horror. Gothic horror is always kind of in between for me, of like, it could go really bad or it could be perfectly fine. I have been seeing a lot about this online, so like, people are reading it, but I also see some split opinions on it. So, I honestly didn't even know she was Canadian. I mean, if it's got merits of mystery and intrigue and whatever that particular judge that could pick it is looking for, then I guess it'll end up there. Based on popularity alone, I'd give it a 50-50 shot of ending up on the short list. I had not intended to read it. If it gets picked, I'll still read it even though I'm not a horror reader, and I'll just hope for the fucking best. The next book is Finding Edward by Sheila Murray. It's basically about a guy who finds some letters about a white woman giving up her mixed-race son for adoption, and then that sets him on a path to like finding his own father after moving from Jamaica to Toronto. So really, it's one of those personal discovery kind of ones mixed in with like Black Canadian history. And you'll see in my 1619 project review that comes out soon, I really do wish I had kind of more Black history of Canada, so I would find that interesting perhaps. I'd probably give it a 50-50 ending up on the shortlist. I'm already over what I think is going to end up on the shortlist. There's only 5 books on the shortlist. And here I go. Anyways, just based on the little write-up I saw about it, pretty good chances. It's, you know, of literary merit. Ridiculous saying. Next book on the list is Hotline by Dimitri Nasralla. Nasralla. Hotline. Yeah, so it takes place in the 80s. Another new immigrant story. A woman is working as a phone operator for, I think it was like some kind of weight loss thing, you know, those ads that were always on TV. And so ends up just like talking to people, learning people's secrets, and just kind of having like that insider information. And so it's just like about Canada's barriers kind of thing. It sounds very interesting. It is a newer release, if I'm remembering correctly. It is one that I bypassed when I did all of my Canadian shopping. I don't know why. Like, when I read it, I'm like, why would I bypass that? And it's just because other stuff was more interesting to me at the time, and I'd give this a pretty good chance of ending up on the short list. Next book on the list is We Spread by, I want to say it's pronounced Ian. I-A-I-N. Ian? Ian Reid. Who you might know as the person who wrote I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Also a book that I had picked up, found what it's about, went fuck no, I can't handle that, and gave it away. So this newest one, thriller. A woman finds herself in a long-term care residence after she's had one too many incidents and starts to lose her grip on time and her place in the world. And I was just like, please don't fucking do this to me. I mean, his books are about making you uncomfortable. And so I'm kind of like, I actually didn't look to see if he's had a book on a shortlist before, but I was just kind of like, I'm not sure a judge is going to champion a book that makes people feel so uncomfortable. It's kind of a crapshoot for me. I want to say that it's not going to end up there. It could end up there. Honestly, I don't think I will be partaking in it. If it ends up on the short list, I will. I'll give it a go. I will give it my best fucking shot, knowing that I'm reading for a purpose, but reading for a purpose rather than reading for enjoyment really does not sit well with me. And so yeah, I'm hoping no. It's a crapshoot. Next book on the list is Moon of the Crusted Snow. I'm gonna butcher this name so badly. Wubgeshig Rice? That cannot say indigenous names of things. I don't know. I can't handle it. My tongue's just like, what? No, that's not what those letters are. Anyways, dystopian drama about a northern town who faces dwindling resources and rising panic after their power grid goes down. So it's, outside and inside forces. It's, man versus nature, man versus man. I really think it's going to end up on the list. I feel like it's probably just what they're wanting. Like I said, I've only read Ducks on this list. I haven't read any of the other ones. I have strong gut feelings that this one's going to show up on the list. I'm excited to read it. I will butcher that name again, and we'll go from there. High probability for me that this is going to end up on the list. I think it's got a good mix of things. It is indigenous. It is Northern Ontario. Did I say Ontario? Does it say it just says Northern? Anishinaabe is that in Ontario? That could be Ontario. It literally doesn't fucking matter where it is. The point is, it's a northern town that's going, hey, where's all our shit that we're supposed to have? Yeah. Drama, usually not too much for me, but like I will fucking do this. I'm gonna do this book. I have just strong gut feeling about this book is gonna end up on the short list. Last book on the list. You ready? Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. That's right. A dystopian world where a flu-like virus has eliminated a large part of the population. Fun fact, I bought this book literally the week before the pandemic started, and I went, oh my fucking god, I cannot read this now. So it's right there, but I've never read it. It got a TV show, I think. I know you're thinking, oh, it's popular, it has a TV show, it's Canadian, like, it's definitely going to end up on the short list. But, like, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm not sure it will end up on the short list. like, I certainly am not for pandemic stories anymore, but like that's very specifically like COVID pandemic stories. So I'm like, could I read something where this is, the future? Maybe, but like due to its popularity, I give it like a 50-50 shot of whether it would end up on the list, like the short list or not. Like, it's like, do we want a pandemic story right now? Or is it like just dystopian enough and like different from ours that we can do it? Like, it really depends on who their judges are to pick the 5. Like, it is so subjective down to like individual people. That's the one thing I'm not a very big fan of with Canada Reads, is that it's like specific people that are doing this, not necessarily from like a collective consciousness of like fucking Canadians. Like, let us vote on it, like Goodreads Reader's Choice Awards, But yeah, I'm giving it a 50-50 shot of ending up on the list because like maybe it's so popular they don't want it there. Maybe they want to champion something maybe less well known. Cause like I feel like there's a large amount of Canadians that if you were like, oh yeah, Station 11, oh I've read that, or oh I've seen the TV show. So it's like, do you want it there? I'm so torn. Like, I think this was the one that tore me the most about whether it's going to show up or not, because I was kind of like, it's a couple of years old now. I think it was like 2014. And I was like, if you wanted something by her, I'm like, I think she's got 2 that have come out in the past 2-3 years. Like, maybe pick something a little more recent. I'm lost on that one. I really don't know. Obviously, I picked it up to read it at some point, so I will read it. I mean, that's my thing. Canada Reads books. I'm trying to read all 5 of them in a timely manner to get them out to you. My new thing. I tried last year. I didn't try that hard. It failed. But yeah, like, out of the topic of the long list now to just Canada Reads and Canadian, literature in general, I really feel like I do want to be reading more Canadian literature. Like, I think about things going back to, like, high school, and they were like, so, like, we're doing Canadian books, we're doing Canadian books, we're doing Canadian books. So, like, the 3 things that we had to read were not Canadian, and then we had one thing that we had to pick from, like, a list of things, and not necessarily all of them were Canadian either. It was a very weird time at high school in the early 2000s. Let me tell you. So yeah, I'm kind of like, some of them I'm like, yeah, definitely, and some I'm like, ooh, I don't know, and other ones where I'm like, definitely not. We'll see how right I am. We will come back on January 26th. Come out on the 25th, right? So maybe I'll talk to you on the 26th. I don't know. Like, I don't even know who the judges are. They don't tell us who the judges are. I want to know how they pick the judges too. Can I be a judge? How do I become notable? I become notable by you liking and subscribing. Okay, that's all I've got for Canada Reads right now. A good list of Canadian, mostly fiction. Things I want there, things I don't want there, things I'm kind of indifferent to. Yeah. Will I make predictions before reading them? Probably not. We'll see. I don't particularly want to, because I don't want to look like a complete idiot. I mean, this video is enough for that, isn't it? Okay. If you've read any of these, hit up the comments. Tell me what you think is, what you're hoping's on the short list, what you hope wins. Literally any of it. Just tell me about your Canadian fiction. That's all I want. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you around next time. Like and subscribe so I can become a fucking panelist on Canada Reads in like 8 fucking years. Alright. See ya.